everyone, welcome back. This is the second part of my knitting podcast episode about July, everything that happened in July. And in this second part, I'm talking about our trip to Greece. We holidayed in Crete for 2 weeks. In the first part, I was talking about everything that happened in the beginning of July, what I knitted, and also about Jyväskylä Knit Festival. And in this second part, as I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about our holiday and what I knitted by the beach and also by the pool and while eating ice cream and visiting ancient sites. Well, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. In the first part, I forgot to mention something about test knitting. You might remember this pink hat. This is the top-down hat I showed you already a couple of times here on YouTube. This is now ready for test knitting. And in the previous episode where I was in Helsinki, I told I visited Snurre and I bought a skein of hedgehog fibers in Salty Tales. So I made this second hat with that yarn. This is similar to the pink hat, but the colorway is a bit different. You can see here that it has these little spots of turquoise and purple, so really cute. And I have now opened the test knitting for these hats on Ravelry, in my Ravelry group. And the test knit is already full and in full fart as well. So this pattern should be ready in a couple of weeks for me to show you. And the second thing that is already open for test knitting in my Ravelry group is this mohair pullover I've also showed you here on Instagram, here on Instagram and here on YouTube as well. And this pattern is now available for test knitting. And like I said, there are new patterns in making, and in the first part I told you that also this top that I'm wearing, I'm writing the pattern for it. So exciting times, many new patterns coming out, and the novel pattern is now available in my Ravelry store. It's finished and it's available for download over there. So if you are interested in that, go check it out. But back to Greece and our holiday. So we were first thinking about going to Barcelona or Madrid, but then we got such a good deal about going to Crete that we decided to skip 1 week in Madrid or Barcelona and go to Crete for 2 weeks instead. So we flew there and we had a lovely little hotel that was immediately by the sea. So it was like from our balcony you could see the sea and just walk down the stairs and across the little front yard of the hotel, and then the beach was there. And we stayed in a little village called Gerani. It was quite close to Chania. There weren't that many hotels in Gerani or that many restaurants, but Chania was half an hour bus ride away, so it was really easy to go there. And also there was a bit bigger village called Platanias right next to our village, so there were a lot of restaurants and lots of shops and nightlife if you were interested in that kind of thing. But we mostly wanted peace and quiet, so Gerani was really good for us, and the beach wasn't at all crowded. So on most nights we almost had the whole beach for ourselves. And the most amazing thing was that our beach was like a reservoir for sea turtles. That is an endangered species. So every night they came on the beach and laid eggs. They digged a little hole there and laid their eggs there and then covered it up and went back to the sea. So they only came to the beach when it was dark, so we never saw them. But in the morning you could see the tracks, and there were these volunteer workers who were digging their nests and see when they saw that there were eggs, so they covered it up again and marked the spots so that people knew there were turtle nests and could be aware of them and not disturb the peace. Also, we didn't see the turtles hatching. That was really sad, because also the hatching happens at night when it's cooler and there are less predators attacking the little turtle babies. But it was really amazing to see the turtle tracks during the morning and see the volunteers working to save the endangered species. We also stayed quite a lot by the pool. We were traveling, me, my husband, and our almost 3-year-old son, who learned to swim during that little holiday of ours. So we decided that we wanted to take it really easy and not stress. Just like stay by the pool, stay by the sea, swim and play together. We rented a car for a couple of days and went to see the main sites of that island. On the first day we drove to Knossos, which is near Heraklion, and it is I think it was 3,500 years old Minoan, the civilization called the Minoans, and that was their like palace town. And there have been quite a lot of excavations there, and they had digged up parts of the palace. A lot of it was still underground and not open for public, but it was really interesting to see all those sites. And it's been said that it's the oldest town in the whole of Europe. So we have been to Rome and seen the Roman sites also in other parts of Greece and in Turkey. But if you think about the Romans, the Minoans were like almost 2,000 years prior to the Romans. So even to the Romans, it's still like 1,500 years to the Minoans. So it's like so long ago. So getting to visit that site, it was quite amazing. I really recommend it if you happen to be in Crete. There are also other ancient sites. There have been lots of different cultures on the island of Crete. First Minoans, then ancient Greeks, ancient Romans, also the Venetians and the Ottomans, and during the World War II there have been Germans on that island. So a lot of different cultures and a lot of different sites to see. A lot of history. Also there's quite amazing nature, so many beaches, turquoise sea, and we went to visit a beach called Elafonisi, which is at the most western part of Crete, and there's like this milky turquoise sea and pink sand. Yeah, really pink sand. Most of it is white, but when the water hits it, the parts where the water hits it, it's like really pink. And they said that it's like seashells, crushed seashells, but it was really soft to walk. You didn't need like shoes to walk on it. It wasn't like coral, but it felt like sand, but it was like this really light pink. So the whole combination of white sand and pink sand and the milky turquoise sea, it was so beautiful. It was a shame that it was a really touristy place. There were so many people right next to each other that you couldn't really appreciate the whole amazing nature that was happening there. Also, we were traveling with a kid, so we couldn't stay that long, so we didn't get, or he wouldn't get sunburned. But we drove there through some mountains, and the terrain up there was also quite rough, and there would have been quite a lot of really nice hiking trails, but with a 3-year-old in tow, we decided to skip the hiking altogether. The trails were quite challenging, so trying to do that in over 30 degrees Celsius heat with a little kid felt a bit too much, or a bit too dangerous for us. We also visited the old towns of Chania and Redimna, and I really liked them. They were super cute and idyllic, and lots of old houses, little harbors. Especially in Redimna, there were also beaches where you could swim, lots of cafes, lots of places to eat, and I was really positively surprised how pretty those both little towns were. They were a bit run down and in need of renovation. You can really tell that Greece is having financial trouble, but hopefully they are getting their act together, and as far as I could see, the tourists are coming back. There were a lot of people everywhere, so I hope that in a couple of years more of the houses have been renovated and painted, and more little trendy cafes are popping up. In Chania there was a really nice yarn store called Pleko, and I visited it. The owner was really friendly, really nice. She was from UK, and she had moved to Chania, and since she liked to knit and didn't really get the kinds of yarn she wanted locally, so she decided to start her own yarn shop. And she told me that during the summer months, when it's hot, most of her customers are tourists who have looked online just like me and found her shop. But during the winter months, even the locals seem to knit a lot and are like loyal customers for her. She also told me that there are more yarn shops on the island, but mostly they sell acrylic yarns, and she was really disappointed when she told me that there were no local yarn vendors, or as I wanted to buy something that was really local, like local Cretan yarn, there wasn't any. So hopefully somebody will start spinning yarn on Crete, and maybe next time I go there I can buy something local. They have a lot of sheep and a lot of goats on the island, so I don't see why they couldn't make yarn. Maybe it's just not their tradition, I don't know. But anyway, I bought some souvenirs for myself there. I bought Juniper Moon Farm, the moonshine, in this beautiful dark grey. and this is super soft. It's 40% alpaca, 40% wool, and 20% silk. So I bought, well, you know me, I bought a sweater quantity, 6 skeins. Here's only 4 of them, the last 2 are over there. But those are my souvenirs. I also bought another little souvenir from myself. This is made in Crete, and the designer is called Tommy K. And this is not actually a project bag. I think it's actually maybe a clutch or a handbag, but I don't see why I can't use it as a project bag. I really like it. It's super cute and the perfect size for like a hat project or a pair of socks. And also it's so pretty that I can just like walk around with it like a handbag. So these are my Cretan souvenirs, Juniper, Moon Farm, and this project bag. I think you are most anxious to hear and see what I knitted, so let me start showing you. You might remember seeing this top also on Instagram, and here I showed you parts of this in the previous episode. And I bought this yarn during our trip to Berlin. This is from Wool Berlin, and this is the Lino Muka linen yarn I bought from there. And I knitted this V-neck top that has a little bit lower back hem than the front. And when I tried it on, it was too wide here at armholes, so I made these little pleats here on the sides. But actually they look really good, and they give the sweater on the top some structure, so I really like them. So it was a happy accident in the end. The colorway is really beautiful. I really like it. It's one of my favorite colors, and I think it complements my skin tone really well, and I've been wearing this quite a lot already. Another thing I knitted in or started on my holiday was the Cambria project. This is the yarn I got for the indie designer program from the fiber company, and I'm making a raglan sleeve cabled sweater with this. So that's a project I started during our trip, and this is how it's starting to look like. There's this white cable pattern here on the front, and the rest is simple stockinette stitch. I'm knitting this in the round from the bottom up, and then it will have raglan sleeve construction. So those are 2 sweater projects, or the only sweater projects I was knitting during the holiday. And I showed you 2 top-down hats at the beginning of this episode. I've been so enamored with this technique, and I usually, when I discover a new technique or a new idea, I keep working around it until I have exhausted the idea or I've been inspired by something else. And at this moment I've been really into these top-down hats, and I'm actually already making the 4th version of the same idea, a little bit different but the same. And in the first part of this July recap, I showed you the yarn I bought from Jyväskylä Knit Festival, the the queen fiber merino single in the colorway Hurricane. And here's a hat knitted with it. So this is also a top-down hat. Instead of, I still haven't weaved in the ends, so don't mind about them. This has a little bit different start. Instead of 4 sections, this has 6, and it's 1x1 ribbing. So here you can see the colors. It's quite a lot of orange and then a little bit of gray and purple, and well, almost every color you can imagine. And I already said I'm making the 4th version, so here's 2 versions. This is the 3rd one, and this is the Aria colorway from Madeleine Tosh. Tosh Merino Light I bought from Snurre in Helsinki. I think I showed you the skin in my previous episode. I'm so in love with this colorway and I want to knit everything with this. I'm already planning a scarf with the same yarn. And this is also a top-down hat, but this time with wider rib. So this is 6x3 rib. And for this both, I have written the pattern, but I still have to proofread them before they are ready to be test knitted. So 2 new hat patterns coming up. So here's a pile of top-down ribbed hats in different yarns and a bit different construction, or the increases and the width of the rib. And like I said, there's a 4th version of the same idea. But this time I started with Judy's Magic Cast On, so it's going to have a wider, instead of like this pointy top, it's having this like wider top and only increases here by the sides. This is Käsakerho Pom Poms Merino Single base in the colorway is called Yakara, and this is the last one I started on the holiday, and it's still in process, as you can see. And this one has 2x1 ribbing, so a bit different. I also started knitting socks on the holiday, and I have finished the first sock. These are plain vanilla simple socks, nothing fancy. And the yarn is Studio Maize sock kits in the fawn colorway, and I think they really look like a Bambi. And I love the contrasting colors, the dark blue and this mint green. It's so beautiful. And I also started to knit the second sock, but only got this far with it. So this is what I've been knitting. I'm knitting these with mini circular needles. These are Haya and I bought them from Love Knitting. I have noticed that socks knit up really fast with these, like it almost feels like they're flying off the needles. But as they are so small, I have a hard time finding a good place for my fingers. Sometimes I feel like a giant trying to knit with children's toys. And during longer times, if I knit too long with them, my fingers start to ache a bit. So this is not something that I can do for hours. And also I have noticed that it's really easy to knit just a simple stockinette stitch, but I have hard time purling with these because I usually purl looser than I knit. so my whole gauge is a bit different when I knit with mini circulars than I knit with magic loop or with DPNs. But so it's looser, and when I purl it's even more loose, so it's not that pretty. Maybe I should go down with a needle size or something like that, but I really have to be mindful about tightening the gauge when I purl, so that's a bit hard for me with these mini circular needles. Here you can see a closer look. The needles, these are 2.5 millimeters. So they're just like this short, and then there's a little cable around them. I recommend this for like vanilla socks, like I said, stockinette stitch, but if you have anything with more detail or intricate stitch patterns or cables or something like that, I don't feel comfortable knitting with these. But that's everything I knitted or on our holiday in Greece. We just pile everything up for you so you can have a look. Still everything part of this, and here's the second sock and also this one. So quite a lot. So if you look at this pile, you might think that, oh, what a boring holiday she had. I'm saying, what an amazing holiday I had. These have been knitted by the beach, by the pool, on our balcony during the night with a glass of red wine, in the car across the Cretan mountains, on the pink beach of Elafonisi, in the ancient town of Knossos, eating ice cream in Chania, and falafel in Aretumno. So a lot of memories here. I hope I have caught a little bit of the Cretan sunshine in these knits so that they will keep me extra warm during the winter. At least the memories of the warmth and the summer will keep me warm every time I wear them, so they are extra special for me in that sense as well. There's one more thing I want to show you before I finish for today. I got amazing yarn mail today. The Woolfolk Yarn is releasing a new yarn base in just a couple of days, and I got to be among a few selected ones who got a chance to win a few skins of this new Flette yarn. It's this like a really amazing boucle style yarn, really different from anything else I have ever worked with, so I'm really excited to start swatching with these two. Super soft and fluffy, wonderful yarn, and this, like I said, this came in the mail today, and in the next episode I will have knitted something with this, so you can see how the texture looks and how they look knitted. But this is everything I have today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I promise it won't take another month for me to film the next episode. It will come sooner. But bye until then. See you.